Welcome back to Fair's Fairly Bad at Doing What the Algorithm Wants Me to, where we will talk about why Buzz Lightyear failed miserably. Now, just to start, I disagree with Shadiversity's reasoning that the lesbian kiss pushed people away. It was a background kiss that was barely in the movie. The idea that one scene that Disney put in to tokenize LGBT plus people again was a deciding factor in the income of this movie is a little out there. The Cruella movie earned more, and it was known to be a likely flop from the start, while also having a flamboyantly gay character. This wasn't an in-your-face bit of homosexuality either. I know he hadn't seen it at the time of saying that, so maybe he didn't know, but one of my issues with his reasoning is the idea that a gay character would cause this level of profit drop. If there was any couple violently making out on screen, then I could understand that maybe you wouldn't want to bring your kids to it, but this was not that. I believe that this was a natural result of a history of warning signs culminating together in one movie. From concept to advertising to being overall a mid-movie in the end results, I believe that all of these things came together to kill the movie cumulatively, rather than any one thing being responsible for it. But I'll explain. First, the concept. This movie was a red flag right out the gate, like it spent the whole first date wearing a fedora and talking about his search for a quality woman. They resurrected an old series to make a new movie in the hopes that the pre-existing fanbase would yield money. This has long been a bad idea, with a wonderful list of terrible to mid media that doesn't say good things about the chances for this movie. These resurrections are almost always soulless cash grabs designed to milk money out of a franchise or nostalgia with as little cost as physically possible. The history of this being true is starting to make people skeptical of any franchise necromancy from a large corporation, so they didn't exactly start off on the right foot. This is the media equivalent of tripping over the starting line. Secondly, and now this is one of my favorites, a major flag I saw: advertising. For some really strange reason, they had the advertising in the form of interviews focus on the LGBT plus representation. It's fine that it's in the movie, hell, good for it. It is based in the future. The idea that gay people wouldn't exist in the future is kind of out there on its own. But it's such a small part of the movie that you might actually miss it if they hadn't advertised it. It's not a focus or important to the movie, and I'd argue it doesn't hurt the movie at all. The flag is that they kept talking about it and dismissing criticism as being against LGBT plus. I've said it before, and we could do a vid as to why this is a big red flag, but to summarize, getting overtly political in your interviews to generate buzz implies that your media doesn't have anything to stand on based on its own merits. Given that there were rumors that the reason they didn't rehire the original voice of Buzz was because of his political statements, this narrative only lends legitimacy to the idea that they intended to lean on political fandoms rather than story. Something I've said before, BioShock had a very overt political message, but never advertised based on that, because there was more to it, there was substance. Did you see any political discourse over Stray? No! They were too busy making a decent game, but the political message of Stray, of class separation, was unmistakable in there. The judging of innate characteristics displayed in Zootopia? The makers didn't need to talk about those things because their media did that just fine on its own, while also being enjoyable and well written. House of the Dragon had some, but the creators didn't really feed or start it, so it quelled itself because the media it was coming from was actually really good. If the discourse is getting heavily political and fed by the creators of it, it doesn't bode well for the media, especially if they're doing it before the movie's even out. Thirdly, and possibly the firmest nail in the coffin, the movie was mid. It was okay, but the writers didn't seem to know if they were going for a theme of learning to work with others or let go of past mistakes so you don't sacrifice the now. So they bounced back and forth between the two, with the themes only intersecting later. The interplay felt very jarring at times. It was maybe even a tad below average. With all these red flags, the most important thing in the end was to be good. If it had been a great movie, then it would have been a turnaround as people started talking about it. Andor had some bad publicity with the track record of new Star Wars, same with the trepidation around Mandalorian. Yet the narrative changed when they came out. If your media is actually really good, it can resurrect the public opinion from almost any misgivings. Lastly, the reason that people started with a low opinion that only went down with each of these flags: Disney's movies have been going downhill. I'm sorry, but it's just true. More and more they are leaning on pre-existing fandoms and remakes. Or at least that's the majority of their advertising. Why would anyone believe that this movie, 3 Flags Deep, will be any better? Let me know. Did you watch it? Was it all the meh that I felt it was? I didn't hate it, maybe I'll watch it again if I get the urge. I'm more likely to rewatch the old animated Lightyear stuff though, but do you think I've hit all the coffin nails on the head? Did I miss anything? Do you think any of my points don't actually apply? Let me know in the comments as you like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter, or my parasocial need for group validation will cause me to spiral into despair. More so than my corporate job already has. And then wouldn't you feel guilty? Or if you feel that I've dared touch the creepily worshipped icon of Disney and must defend your god, you too can go to the comments and be entertainingly angry.